Jasper AI went from 0 to $72 million in annual recurring revenue in 2 years. They raised a $125 million Series A at a $1.5 billion valuation. Investors were thrilled. The product was growing fast. Then in November 2022, OpenAI released ChatGPT. Free, open to everyone, and within weeks, a significant chunk of Jasper's value proposition, generating marketing copy, was something anyone could do for free. That's not bad luck. That's what happens when your moat is thinner than you think. So if you're building an AI product right now, the question isn't whether AI is a good market. It obviously is. The question is, what actually protects your business once the next free model drops? If this is the kind of strategic thinking you want on your radar, please subscribe. I walk through these product decisions every week, and I would rather you hear it here than learn it the expensive way. So here is what makes this urgent. Every AI startup today is built on the same foundation models. OpenAI, Anthropic, Google. The APIs are cheap and getting cheaper. Stanford's AI Index estimated training GPT-4 cost around $78 million. Only a handful of labs can absorb numbers like that. Which means the rest of us are renting the same engine everyone else is renting. So if your product is a smarter interface on the top of that shared engine, you do not have a moat. You have a head start, and those disappear fast. But some companies using these exact same APIs are now valued at billions. Harvey AI in legal reached an $8 billion valuation. Average in healthcare raised at $5.3 billion. Tempus in oncology sits at $7 billion. Same APIs, completely different defensibility. So what are they doing differently? Before we get to that, there is a belief worth challenging, one a lot of founders cling to. If we collect enough data, we'll build a moat. Andreessen Horowitz wrote a piece called The Empty Promise of Data Moats. Their argument is sharp. They observe that for the most enterprise startups, data scale effects have a built-in decay. The first batch of data you collect gives you massive signal, but after that, the cost of collecting unique, useful data goes up, while the incremental value of each new data point goes down. Think about a customer support chatbot. The first 1,000 support tickets teach a model a lot, but the 10,000th ticket is probably a variation of something the model already handles. You are paying more to learn less. So data alone isn't the moat. It's a component, but only if it is structured correctly within the product. And that brings us to where real defensibility actually lives. General LLMs are brilliant at answering questions, but they are stateless. They have no memory of your client's contract, your vendor history, or the edge cases specific to your industry. NEA noted in their research on vertical AI, the software is shifting from a system of record to a system of actions. That shift matters enormously for where moats form. A procurement officer doesn't just need a definition of supply chain risk. They need the AI to know their specific vendor relationship, the clauses in their MSAs, which shipping routes have been delayed 3 quarters running. A general model has none of that context. A vertical product that has spent 2 years embedded in that workflow does. And this is what Jesse Sheff at Insight calls workflow depth. It's not about clever prompt engineering, it's about how deeply your product is woven into actual decision making of a specific industry. Harvey didn't just build a legal chatbot, they built a system that understands how lawyers work case by case. Tempus didn't train their own LLM from scratch, they built the largest comprehensive oncology dataset in the world. Over a million digitized pathology slides, genomic sequences, treatment history spanning 45 countries. No foundation model update will replicate that. There's one more shift that accelerates all of this: the move away from chat interfaces entirely. Professionals do not want to discuss a bill of lading with an AI. They want it generated, validated, and filed. A radiology team doesn't want to ask questions about a scan. They want the AI to flag the anomaly and surface it for review before the doctor opens the chart. This is the transition from SaaS to what some are calling Surface as a software. You are not selling a tool, you are selling a system that handles the first 80% of the work autonomously and only surfaces the decision that actually need a human. Enia noted that this opens an addressable market of $11 trillion in US labor spend, compared to the roughly 450 billion enterprise software market traditional SaaS has been competing over. That's not a marginal expansion, that's a fundamentally different category of value. So what does this mean if you are building an AI product right now? The companies that will survive and be worth serious money aren't the ones with a flashiest demo. They're the ones that went deep into a single workflow, in a single industry, and built something that compounds over time. A data flywheel that strengthens with every user interaction. An agentic layer that makes switching genuinely painful, not because of login tricks, but because the product understands their world better than any alternative. Each Vidra at Greylock framed it simply: unless you are building a foundation model, which most of us are not, the real moat in AI is vertical integration. Seamless embedding into how a specific type of professional actually works. Jasper had a great product. It was just a layer on top of something someone else owned. The company is worth billions right now, didn't make that mistake. If your AI product could be replicated by someone with a weekend and an API key, that's your signal to go deeper, not broader. Please subscribe if you want to keep working through these kinds of decisions, and drop a comment if you are building something vertical. I would genuinely like to hear where you are finding traction. Thank you so much for watching.